So the interesting thing about Nearcoin, so as I mentioned, I go from the top. I started at Bitcoin, working all the way down the tops, right? So now I'm on to 20. So I just covered Near recently, and probably yeah, the most interesting thing about Near that I couldn't say for any other crypto is I always like ask AI, what are the controversies surrounding this crypto, right? And for every crypto, usually it's like the SEC has done a lawsuit, the blah, blah, blah. That's typically that. And then there's also so it's like with all these different cryptos, there's always some different story about what's going on and different controversies. But for the life of me, I could not find any controversies about Near. There's nothing.
Wow, that's really encouraging. That's because
Yeah,
the space
yeah,
is
and I've gone
clean.
through all of them. So this out of the top 20, this is the first time I've ever seen that.
Take the first step towards online privacy. Get NordVPN.
Is the wallet that you want to be using to keep your crypto safe. Whether you are a Bitcoin maxi or an altcoin lover, it is perfect for you. Easy to use, 3 secure elements, and integrates easily with MetaMask, Kepler, and dozens of other extension wallets. Get one now to keep your crypto safe and secure. Go to bit.ly/CryptoRichKeystone. Hey everybody, welcome to another Crypto Rich show. This is going to be about crypto. We're going to look at some technical analysis for Bitcoin, for Ripple, perhaps a couple of other cryptocurrencies. I'm joined by ReggieCoin. No, that's the name of the channel. I'm joined by Reginald from the ReggieCoin crypto channel.
Yeah,
Hey Reggie,
yeah,
thank you
glad
so
to
much
be
for
here.
making yourself available.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm a really big fan of your channel, and admire the work that you've been doing in this space. And yeah, I appreciate your vantage point. That like not only are you just here to make some money, but you also like really believe in the political philosophy behind decentralization and what the possibility that comes from decentralized currencies such as Bitcoin. So yeah, I'm really happy to be here.
Great, great. Thank you so much. Did you want to say a little bit about what you do and your channel and
Yeah,
how it started?
yeah. Yeah. So I recently started going live, maybe about a month ago. So I've been in crypto for over 10 years. My biggest claim to fame, I made a rap song about Dogecoin about 10 years ago. So like back before we even knew how to pronounce Dogecoin, I call it Dogcoin, right?
Right.
But yeah, I made a rap song about Dogecoin. I used to give away thousands of Dogecoin back when it meant nothing. I
Yeah.
was on Twitter because we had like Twitter bots where you could say like, "Hey, send Doge to this Twitter account," and I used to be sending out thousands, just trying to get people interested. A lot of my friends they're like, "Get this out of here," But so yeah, so recently started going live with the goal of educating people to think about crypto more than just how we're going to make money from this, like really think about the technology and like what are the problems with money. The higher level is like what are the problems with money or what are the problems with Bitcoin that these a lot of these emerging altcoins are trying to improve upon, or like what can you not do with money that would be good to do with money that altcoins can help with. So I find that you know um, the best thing to do is read white papers so that you have a good sound understanding of what the actual vision of this crypto is. So yeah, I go live and I just break down different white papers. So I start at the top, started Bitcoin, then went down to Ether, then Tether, and so now I think I've done about 20. So yesterday
Wow.
I talked about Near.
Oh, Near Protocol is a fabulous, fabulous project. Absolutely fabulous project. Fully
Hmm.
decentralized, really fast, well funded. Gives grants for development on the Near platform. And actually, this afternoon, because we're recording this on Saturday, the 30th of November, I think possibly the first meme coin called Moonwalk, MOONWALC.com, is being launched on Near Protocol. So it'll be
Wow,
watching about 2:30 in the afternoon, the first meme coin on Near. I think it's the first
wow.
meme coin. But what you're saying, Reggie, sounds really, really great because very, very useful for those that are more cerebrally minded.
Hmm.
Which uh, I can't. I did that in the beginning when I started in April 2017, looked at white papers and stuff. But now, no, no, no. I just want to know what coin is going to have a dog's face on it and do a million billion X in about 10 minutes.
Well, I feel like it's so hard. So I totally understand that. And yeah, ultimately, it's about just what's effective, right? What
Yeah.
works, what line goes per, and then that's better. But it's like in terms of like educating sort of a general audience, is like because I'm trying to really help. reach people who haven't invested into crypto yet.
Yeah.
We're sort of on the fence. I've met so many people that like really love crypto, love talking about crypto. They'll tweet about it, and they've never actually signed up on an exchange and actually purchased anything. So, like a lot, what I fear is that a lot of people, because I've seen this happen in Dogecoin, because I really love, like I said, I did a song about Doge. So I've seen the boom and bust cycles with Dogecoin. And what happens is that it can really chew people up and spit them out because you get so hyped during that bull market, and then then once there's a crash, Doge it goes down so much that people are then like, oh my god, I just got to sell this. I just got to get my $20 that it was 200, now it's 20. I got to just get my $20 out of here. And it's terrible when that happens. Ideally, the wise thing is like you should have money saved up for when the crash happens. Now you're being able to buy at such a low price, but a lot of people, they're not really properly informed of that. Like they get so hyped, and if you sort of jump in on the hype, you're almost kind of setting up to, take a big loss and then sort of write crypto off forever. Like, oh man, screw that, I lost that. So like that's really why I try to, kind of go the slow, more methodical, kind of help try to calm people down. A lot of these crypto influencers are like very hyped, like, hey, you gotta buy this, it's gonna go up. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. But I try to like calm it down, slow it down, help
Nice and
sort of
sensible
build
and
the
sober.
foundation. Yeah, 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 yeah. And I mean, ultimately, they're gonna go out and buy meme coins, right? Like that's where everything is happening right now, right? So,
The Doge,
but
Doge is the original meme coin, right?
exactly, right, right, yeah, and sort of. So, have you ever seen the movie The Warriors?
No, no.
So there's this like old American film that's sort of based in New York, and it's sort of like a parable talking about like all the gangs in New York, and there's like this very charismatic leader who's like he has this big crowd of all the different gangs. Normally they're fighting each other and stuff. They all have their silly costumes, but he's like, hey guys, there's more of us than cops. Can you dig it? If we all got together, we could run the city. Can you dig it? And everybody's like, whoa, 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 whoa. And then he gets shot, right? But anyways, I feel I like him a lot of times when I talk about these different meme coins because or just altcoins, right? It's like I just wish that everyone could just get together and buy the same coin. If we all got together and bought just one coin, we could all be so wealthy and do so well. And just, oh, I need to spend it on something, just sell a little and just do whatever. And then when I get some more money, I put it back in the coin. Everybody could be doing so well. Can you dig it? If we all came together, of all of these different altcoins and meme coins, if we could just agree on one,
Yeah, that
things
ain't
would be
that ain't
so.
that ain't gonna happen.
No, it's not. But I just wish because it's man, it's like every time there's a new. So now it's like it just feels like the market is just cannibalizing itself. Sometimes
Sure.
more so than bringing in new money or bringing in new people. It's just moving the money around. So it's like, yeah, I mean
Yep.
the
Yep.
idealistic side, right?
I'm definitely doing that with alts that I've held for a while that have done really, really well, moving them into others, right? Now,
Right.
for people on your channel, right, so they know, so I started in April 2017, and just before the ICO boom, did really well out
Mhm.
of that, and then I've just been posting ever since. I'm shadow banned on both my YouTube channels. YouTube did
Wow.
160 of my videos in 2019, and my main
Hmm.
channel has been shrinking ever since. I don't get the views commensurate on my size, but I also post on X, on ODYSEE, and on Rumble, and on
Hmm.
Podbean. Um, and lately, last few years or so, I've been doing more and more political stuff because
Hmm.
life has got way too interesting. The good thing about doing this video is I can get back doing some crypto stuff and everything because there's stuff happening in the world right now. I'm like, oh my god, you're not going to say something about this. But I'm still with crypto, and I would say anybody who's watching this, do not put in any more than you can afford to lose. There are no
Right.
guarantees, even with things like gold, silver, and Bitcoin. There are no guarantees. We just don't know what's going to happen. Um, and some the smaller coins, they're way more wild and volatile, as we'll see, because I'll look at the Doge TA. And in terms of white papers, I invite you to look at a couple of projects that I've been closely involved in.
Hmm.
One is Pirate Chain, and the ticker symbol is ARRR. And Pirate Chain, all the transactions are private, every single one. using
Wow.
ZK Snark, because there's no option for visibility.
Wow. So I
And
mentioned on my channel that that's, probably one of the most like popular things that can take a crypto that's nobody's ever heard of. I've told like people like, hey, if you're thinking about making a crypto, if you can make something that's actually private, then such a beautiful use case that people are dying for. That every time, at first we thought Bitcoin was private, right? And then it wasn't. And then I think there was like Monero, right? And then it came out that that wasn't private, and so there's also is like one of the best ways to market a crypto, right? Just like what you're doing is, yeah, if it can be private. So I wasn't aware of any like current ones. So yeah, that's awesome.
there's quite a few. I'm one of the team at Pirate Chain, so maybe at some point we
Oh
can
wow.
schedule a video and I can go through it with you. The other one that I invite you to look at is Veruscoin,
Mm,
VerusCoin, and Veruscoin is far too amazing. I don't understand it. It's completely decentralized. You can mine it on a CPU. It's 50% stake, proof of stake, 50% proof of work, which makes it
mhm,
incredibly robust. It has ZK Snark optionality. It does on-chain um, currency swaps. Verus, Verus.io, on-chain currency swaps. And the price, if we could I could just show you the price. I don't
sure.
know why, but it has mooned like crazy. Let me just get the chart up for Verus.
Sure.
Okay, this is actually the Bitcoin chart. We'll come to that in a second. Let's have a look. Okay, that's Ripple. So one of the things that I have learned to do is
Mhm,
to read charts. I've only recently started trading. I can read charts, but I don't do. I mean, I do swing trading and I don't do leverage trading. It's all spot. Okay, so this is Veruscoin. They launched in May 2018, and I've been covering them pretty much ever since. And this is Veruscoin against Bitcoin on the weekly. So do you understand candles?
a little bit. It's sort of like the buy pressure versus sell pressure, right?
Yeah, and a green. These are weekly candles. So each candle is a week's time frame. What happened
Oh, okay.
to the coin then?
So it's like if there's more buys than sales, then it's then
It
more
goes up.
green, and
Yeah,
then if it's
yeah,
more sales versus buys.
yeah.
Mhm,
So in the weekly candle, so here the price started there at the beginning of the week and ended there. So it went down that week. For a
mhm,
green candle, it started there and went up and ended there at the end of the week.
right.
And this is the weekly candle. You always want to have a look at the weekly first, the weekly or the monthly first, because the longer
Mhm,
term trends are will give you an idea. And actually, where we are with Veruscoin right now is price discovery. Actually, no, here we're about. Oh, this is good. We're about at its all-time previous high against Bitcoin,
mm.
which is 616,000 sats roughly.
Okay, so this whole chart, is it relative to Bitcoin? It's
Yeah,
not.
this is
It's just
Veruscoin against
okay.
Bitcoin. Yeah, and then what's likely to happen is, let me get this out. What we have is a cup and handle, which is a bullish pattern. Show you in
Mhm,
a second, and it's a long-term bullish, which makes it very solid. Hold on. So we go from here. So this is rough. If I had better drawing gear, I could draw like this, a more shallow saucer, but it's a
mhm,
cup, right? And then what happens is that the price retraces. It reaches the previous all-time high about here, and then actually I've already drawn it. It retraces usually to about a third of the cup,
mhm.
and then it goes up again. And then if it breaks through that previous all-time high, what we're talking about is, let me move this here. It goes up to about the depth of the cup. And I'll show you this with Bitcoin as well, because Bitcoin's in a very long-term cup and handle, which means, so then if I copy this, we are looking at that the next major resistance will be at, I don't know, 1.2 million sats. Essentially, once it breaks above this line, essentially price is going to double.
Wow.
And now people don't know about this cryptocurrency. It's you just got to read the white paper. I can't explain.
What's the market cap at it right now?
The market cap is not a lot. It's something. It's still
Like in the millions?
don't know. I'd have to go and look at CoinGecko, which I don't have open. It's about 200 something on CoinGecko. You know, CoinMarketCap, it's not accurate. CoinMarketCap, they favor who goes into the top 200. So this
Really,
is
I had
Verus
no
coin
idea.
against the dollar.
Mhm.
We were looking at Verus coin against Bitcoin. The market cap is 477 million,
Okay.
and it's
Wow. Yeah. So
215.
that's yeah. What the trend I started to notice looking at a lot of altcoins is that yeah, if it's under 2 billion, then that's something that's like it can almost hit 2 billion overnight. Like you'll never know when, bam, because it seems like with so many people just trying to find the next big thing, that could look like $2 billion overnight hitting anything. So anything under that 2 billion mark is like, I always get excited about that because I just see the potential that like, yeah, you don't know, this could really, yeah. So this is like it could go up, 4x,
Yep.
at
Yep.
any given time once people see it.
Yep. So do take a look at the white paper for this one, Verus.io. And then I'll have to watch. I've done loads of videos on this, and it just baffles me. It's just an amazing, amazing project. And while we're here, let's look at Pirate Chain. Pirate Chain and Verus are both from the Komodo staple. They're both forks of Komodo. Now, Pirate Chain launched August 2018, listed on CoinGecko February 2019, got picked up by Jeff Berwick's Dollar Vigilante here. This massive pump.
Wow.
But it's been in the doldrums ever since.
Right.
It's picking up lately. Let's have a look at Pirate Chain, which I haven't done this, look at it against Bitcoin. So that's where it got picked up by Dollar
Mm.
Vigilante. But again, we have the potential for a massive cup and handle
Yeah.
when it goes up, reaches that level again, and then again that where it will go to should it form that, because it's really early. This is a pattern that's going to take weeks and months to play out.
Right.
Then we're looking at it doubling again from the depth of this. But lately, so again, this is the weekly challenge. It has broken this trend line.
Right. Yeah, and what from the pattern that I'm kind of used to seeing, like with Bitcoin versus alt, is that like once Bitcoin has really kind of hit his all time high and sustained the all time high there, it's almost people kind of take the gains from that, and it's like, well, now you can't really make that much from Bitcoin once it's kind of at that peak. So now they take the winnings from that, and now they start to flood a lot of alts or little small alts, because now they with Bitcoin you can only go up a couple percent, but with these alts you could go up 20,000% if you find the right one, right?
Yeah, I got to tell you, Reggie, one of the craziest things that happened to me in 2017. I bought some Verge in April 2017.
Oh my God. We have a verse story. I have a verse story too.
Yeah, okay, here's my Verge story. I bought a quarter of a million Verge for $30.
Hmm.
April 2017.
Right.
At the height of the 2017-2018 bull run, that was worth over
Right.
$90,000.
Right. Wow.
I didn't sell. It was my second bull run, right? I was like, oh, it's going to go higher, going to go. My wife was
Right.
so upset with me. I sold on the way down at 1,200.
1,200. Okay.
Still not bad from $30, right? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
what's your Verge story?
So my Verge story. So it all starts with Dogecoin for me, right? So there's this one website. There's this. So I tell people like 95% of the exchanges I've ever been on have gone out of business. Now, so over the years, just so many of them they end up going. There used to be a lot of just Dogecoin based exchanges. Most of
Right,
those end up going out of business. So I was on one of those exchanges, and I started like people started. There was rumblings like, hey, people's movement, their trades aren't going through, their withdrawals aren't going through, and so I'm trying to figure out how do I get my money off of this freaking website. And so I'm searching around Twitter, and the guy who created Vergecoin at the time, it wasn't even called Vergecoin. It was called Dogcoin Dark. So essentially, it was branded as the sort of private Dogcoin. So it's called Dogcoin Dark. And that was the only thing that was moving on this exchange. So I traded my Dogecoin into Dogecoin Dark, and I got the Dogecoin Dark, and then I just cashed that out. I moved it to another site that had Dogecoin Dark, right? And then I exchanged it to like Litecoin or something. They got the Litecoin now and I cashed out the Litecoin. So there's just a little bit of trading dust, what we call it, right? just a little bit of trading dust, so less than $1 of Dogecoin Dark, right?
Yeah.
So then, yeah, I hear about what's going on with Vergecoin and their connection to certain streaming content platforms, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm hearing about this big boom. So I'm like, oh man, I think that was Dogecoin because I follow the creator and some of their pages, but I see that now they're called Verge, right? So and I'm seeing all the stuff about oh yeah, boom to boom. So I'm like, oh man, let me go back into this account and see. So what was 30 cents? Now it was like $2,000. 2,000 bucks, right? And then I reach out to one of my like I have people that were into crypto when it was just Bitcoin that were more than me. So I reached out to him. I was like, oh my god, I had this thing and it was just like 30 cents now it's 2,000. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And he was like, sell that. He was like, you better sell that. I was like, okay. Whew, whew. And I sold it. So yeah, less than $1 turned into
That's
2,000
extraordinary. That's
from
really
Vergecoin.
extraordinary. And I
Yeah.
think where Vergecoin is now, let's have a look. So Vergecoin was a fork of Doge.
So no, first it was branded as Dogecoin Dark.
But it
So
was okay.
it was its own alt,
Right.
but it was branded as like, hey, this is just like Dogecoin, but it's private. I think at some point, yeah, they threw the privacy out the window. I don't think it's actually private anymore. But it started off as Dogecoin Dark.
Yeah.
And so then that's when I bought it, when it was Dogecoin Dark. And I was like, yeah, I mean, of course, I like the branding, but I just cashed out. I wasn't actually holding it. It was just literally just trading dust that I tried to get rid of. It was so little I couldn't get rid of it. And then that ended
I
up,
think I think it's a
ballooning.
dead coin now. I don't think there's any development or anything going on. And you can see
Yeah,
that was the April 2017 peak where it went to about
right,
29 cents. So, and then again here in May 2021 in that bull run.
right. Where everything was going up, right,
Yeah, and who knows? It might recover, but it's a dead project as far as I know. So it has gone up because people will move in looking for bargains everywhere. Okay, so
right.
let's have a look at Bitcoin because the way Bitcoin moves everything. We'll do Bitcoin against the dollar. And one of the things I want to say for people who are new to crypto, so this is the yearly candles on Bitcoin. These dashed lines are the halving lines. This only goes back to 2013.
Um,
This
okay.
this line should actually be in 2012, July 2012, when the halving was. Was that the first halving? Yeah, that was the first halving. So you had 50 Bitcoin being created every 10 minutes before that, then 25 Bitcoin. You have the halving year, then it drops for a year, then it goes sideways, and then the year after the halving, happy times. Then it drops for a year, sideways, okay, up. The year of the halving, the year after the halving, happy times. Then it drops for a year, goes sideways, then the halving year, and then happy times in 2025.
Hmm.
So that's the pattern. So these are this 2025 happy times. So that's on the annual candle. These are monthly candles, and you can see here cup and handle, and then it broke through. And then this target, the target for this cup and handle, is going to be 125,000. But that's not the end of it because I reckon we're going to carry on till about September, October, November is when we're going to have the all-time highs. But about 125,000 is likely to be significant sideways action, or it may retrace.
Wow.
It may retrace. And I don't have a particular chart up of the CME futures, but there's a futures gap at about 78,000 on the CME futures gap. Now, what that means is, so most foreign exchanges, currency
Hmm.
exchanges, they close at Friday and they open Monday in Asia, Monday morning in Asia. So then between Friday evening, Saturday, Sunday, you have no trading.
Hmm.
Sometimes what happens, price closes at this point, and then when it reopens at this point, or it reopens at this point. It doesn't reopen at the price that it closed. So that creates a futures gap. And
Hmm.
then 99 times out of 100, price always retraces to fill that gap.
Hmm.
So there's action in that gap because right now there's no action. And so at some point, I think there's going to be a correction to 78,000. And I've got some
Hmm.
buy orders set in an exchange in Trade Ogre because they deal a lot in privacy cryptos like Pirate Chain and Verus coin as well as Bitcoin for buys at 78,500 and 78,800. So I catch the gap.
Wow.
I don't normally do. Normally I just hodl.
Mhm.
But this is the time to play if you're going to play. And I'm taking some of the money I've made from Verus coin, done very well with Verus coin, and putting it into other cryptos. So let me show you. This is Bitcoin on the daily. I thought there was an inverted cup and handle forming. So you got the cup and then the handle. And that's where I drew
Mhm.
these lines, which is bearish, means price is going to go down. It hasn't played out that way. The thing about what these candles measure is fear and greed, people's emotions, and what people do. And it may be that there's bullish sentiment, or I just misread the candles. But if let me get rid of that, and then we look and see where we're at. So we could be forming a double top, which means that price will keep rising. So let's look at the 4-hourly because it's not that clear. Price will keep rising, and it hits this top, the same level here, and
Mhm.
99,000, and then it retraces.
Mhm.
The double top is bearish. Price will go down again. But let's look on the 4-hourly. We have a double top forming here and a double top forming here because they don't have to be at the same level. If it starts going down and then it crosses past 91,500, if it carries on going down, then that confirms the double top, and then price will go down to about 84,000.
Right, because then that inspires like a lot of fear, I guess, is like, yeah, once those people see the signal of it's going down to that point, and people are gonna just sell more. It's like the cycle feeds into itself, right?
Yeah. People think, oh, it's going down because also a lot of technical traders and auto traders and algo traders, they'll
Right.
follow these markets like that and say, okay, that's what's happening, and then it'll go down.
Mhm.
So that's what I think is likely to happen. Although at some point we will go past 100K, but I think there's quite a lot of selling pressure just below 100K because it's a psychological mark. All right, so then Bitcoin, no, not Bitcoin, we don't Ripple. Now I don't know
Mm.
Ripple, Bankster
Me
coin.
neither. Me neither.
However, to its credit, it's incredibly fast, incredibly cheap to transact with, and
Mm.
it does have the banks behind it. So let's have a look at.
So maybe you can help me with this question because I always pose this and nobody's been able to respond to this. They're like, so I hear about, I think the last recent thing I heard about, like maybe MasterCard might be using Ripple, right? Or yeah, different banks may be using Ripple, right? So, but my question there is always they're saying that they're using the technology to sort of help with transactions, but I don't so, but they're not using it as a store of value, right? Because if you're trying to hold it and if your vision is that the price is going to go up, you want banks to be buying it because it stores as a store of value. If they're just using it in terms of the technology, right? How do we know how many Ripple they need to actually do these transactions? Like, can they just buy one single Ripple and then now this whole bank and their whole system can do the transactions they need from just one single Ripple? Or do they really need, because in terms of a computer, right, they could just fraction and fraction and fraction. They don't really need it to be a million Ripple to do all these transactions. They might be able to just do the same math from one Ripple versus 1,000 Ripple versus a million Ripple. So my curiosity about the sort of using it as a financial instrument is, how many is really needed to do that? Are banks really going to be buying it up, or are people buying it up in hopes that banks using it means that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I don't know the answer to that, Reggie. I do know that
yeah.
Ripple uh, can work like a layer one
Hmm.
cryptocurrency, so you can build applications on top of Ripple, and then it's
Hmm.
incredibly fast. And also
Hmm.
because it's not fully decentralized, they can do stuff to it.
Right.
You
And that's
know,
the other part that I don't like about it. Is
yeah, that's
like
what I don't
the
like
fact
about
that it's associated with the private company just makes me feel like it's so sketchy. Like you don't know. Like yeah, it's like yeah. I have people. I have a friend who bought Ripple when it was $3. In what 2017, it was like $3, and I don't think he's bought crypto since.
it.
He was like screw that.
Well, let's have a look at that, right? This is Ripple on the monthly chart. One of the things I want to point out, right, is Ripple's been around for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I've noticed is in the 4-year cycles, which are shaped by Bitcoin's halving, good quality altcoins, and Bitcoin, they don't go back to the levels they were at before. So
Mm,
this is the 2017 all-time high. And then after that, when it crashed, it didn't go back to where it was here.
right.
And then the 2021 all-time high, when it crashed, it's, the lowest was here. It's still above the previous lows.
Yeah.
So then each time the trading ranges shift up. And really the time to get into crypto is a year after the all-time highs, or 2 years after,
Right.
2 years after the halving. But of course, nobody
Right.
wants to, least of all my
Right.
friends.
Right. Yeah. I know
So,
everybody buys on that green line right now
yeah,
as it's going up and up and up.
my
It's
sim-
this the psychological thing is like, oh man, it's up
yeah,
200% right now. So that means it's gonna be up 400% next week. So I gotta just buy now, you know?
yeah. On the what I can see on the monthly is what's called a double bottom. So
Hmm.
it bottoms out here, goes up to the middle, or a W pattern. Now
Hmm.
this is bullish,
Right.
and
Yeah.
if if it is the double bottom, it's going up to $2.27,
Hmm.
and then if it breaks above that $2.27 or so, then we're looking at an increase which is equivalent to the depth of the bottom, which
Hmm.
could be, let's have a look, price range from here down to there. Copy that, move that across. There's a guy called Carl the Moon. I watch his videos. The guy used to be a shelf filler in a supermarket in Sweden, and now he's a multi-millionaire from trading.
Right.
Right, he started off small and he's built and built, and now he places $1 million trades, multi-million-dollar trades from being a shelf filler. So,
Wow.
but you got to really, really study. This is not easy to do, and I don't trade because I don't trust to manage my emotions. That's the critical bit.
Right.
So we're
Yeah.
looking at Ripple reaching $4.36 thereabouts,
Hmm.
$4.36. But that's not the end of it, because that is just where it's going to recover. Perhaps back to here. Actually, it might reach $3.78, and then it's formed a massive cup. Then it will retrace,
Hmm.
and then off to the races again. So this is a double bottom inside a much larger cup and handle. So
Right.
I bought some Ripple just to trade a few weeks ago, and it's going along very, very nicely.
There's something about the Ripple community. It's like it really reminds me of it's almost like a more savvy Dogecoin community. Like there's like there I think the like branding and the fact that it has like financial utility is people who kind of look like, hey man, we're more serious than just the meme coin. Like this is serious. And but to me they seem almost like zombies, right? I started seeing this a lot where people were saying that like the price per XRP is going to go to 500, or it's going to be more expensive than Bitcoin per XRP. It's just like there's so much hype, and I've seen this like through every bull cycle. There's all of these YouTube channels that'll just come up and they're like hyping XRP. And they're like, hey, there's going to be the reset and this is going to happen. And then XRP is going to just blow everything else out of the water. And then it crashes, XRP goes down, and then those channels go away. And then 4 years later, it happens again. There's a new guy who's like, yeah, man, XRP is going to blah, blah, blah. And then so it's like I've seen this happen so many times that it's like I don't want to be negative about it. I don't want to FUD, but it's like just the fact that there's a private company that sort of handles the distribution of it is the part that really scares me. But I think it's also interesting that, and I wonder if you could look at XRP versus XLM Stellar, because from what XLM, that's sort of the decentralized version of it, right?
Mm.
But from what I tend to see, is what happens is that there's a lot of hype about XRP. And then there's people like me or you who's like, yeah, but it's not decentralized. So then that then points people to XLM. So XLM almost kind of follows whenever there's a really big XRP cycle. Now there's a big XLM cycle, not because people necessarily are interested in XLM, but because it's a decentralized alternative to XRP. If they already buy into XRP, then they're already bought into XLM almost.
Yep.
So yeah, I was wondering if you could look at those next
Let's have
to
a look.
each other because yeah, it's like XLM just sort of piggybacks off of what's going on with XRP.
Yep. So there it is. Not as candles. So this white line is XLM, and
Okay.
this shows percentages,
Hmm.
percentage changes. And you can see it follows XLM follows XRP, and XLM is a fork of XRP, but a decentralized fork by somebody who was involved with
Right.
XRP and didn't like the centralized
Right.
token, and had
Right.
the same
Exactly.
quality incredibly fast. Then Dogecoin. This is the monthly candle of Dogecoin. Now these lines are the trading ranges that I was talking about earlier. So Dogecoin launched in 2013, and it's
Hmm.
so funny. It used to be on the Exodus wallet, and then Exodus took it off because they said there's no trading with it. They took Exodus. Then they had to put it back in a few years later. But you had
Wow.
Dogecoin about here, right? When it was
Yeah.
like 300ths of a penny, or even less here, hundredths of a penny. And then you had the
I
bull
remember.
run in 2017, where it reaches a high of 70 cents.
Hmm.
That was May 2021, sorry. Don't know where it went to in 2017. There it was. That's the high of 2017.
Oh,
Right.
wow.
Yeah.
It's like you can't even see it from this
Yeah.
vantage point.
And then 70 cents in June 2021, possibly due to Elon Musk's interest in it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. It was a really big thing here where there were people that were never into, I think also like Robinhood made it far more accessible for people who would never get on exchanges, had never been on exchanges. They had Robinhood accounts. You know, for years Robinhood has sort of been spreading and more people so it's like yeah, yeah, there's a lot of people that were otherwise never into crypto that I saw that in that 2021, run where everybody's like, "Oh, is it gonna be $1? Is it gonna hit $1?"
Yeah. Yeah. Then here, what is this one? I think the all-time high is about 70 cents roughly. So what's
Mhm.
likely to happen is the formation of another cup and handle. Reaches the
Right,
previous all-time high, then it corrects, and then it comes back up, and then off to the races we go. But this hasn't formed yet, but it's forming. And the great thing about Doge is that it's fully decentralized. There's nobody behind it. They release the code. It's proof of work, and it's very fast and cheap to transact with.
right, exactly. Yeah, yeah, the way I make sense of like, yeah, like, transacting with Bitcoin is almost you're, like, moving huge cinder blocks, whereas, like, Dogecoin is like you're transacting, little sodas,
Or
almost,
put
it's
it
like
put it another way: Dogecoin, you're
yeah,
moving the bricks. Bitcoin, you're moving the whole bloody house.
right, yeah, exactly, exactly.
Okay, so then this is Dogecoin on the daily. What's it likely to do? Well, now this is could be it's a cup and handle, so correction. So then it breaks above 43 cents, and then it's off to the races. And the target for this cup and handle would be 36 to 43, about 50 cents,
Wow.
which kind of makes sense because 50 cents is a psychological number. So there'll probably
Right,
be
exactly.
a lot of sell orders around 50 cents.
Right, for sure.
Yeah. Then near protocol. So you looked at near protocol.
Yeah, yeah, and my big takeaway for Near was that so it's like I tell people that there's essentially two types of cryptos that you tend to see today. It's like you get the meme coins, right? But then there's sort of like ether killers or things that are sort of like ether, where it's a whole like DeFi platform, right? So Near fell into sort of ether killer, ether competitor, and so I think of when I think of competitors to Ether, the biggest one to me is Solana, right? So then
Mhm.
my question was, how does Near compare to Solana? And I was very surprised to see that apparently Near is faster than Solana.
Wow.
That like the like technical like they're sort of like the technical highs, like the upper limit that they promise they'll be able to get to, right? With Solana, that's about 65,000 transactions per second, but in reality, it's supposedly much lower, right? But that's just sort of like the highest that they could possibly do is like 65,000 transactions per second. With Near, theirs is about 100,000 transactions per second. It's just what their projected high is. Now, in reality, from what I've seen, Solana is about 3,000, and then Near is about 10,000. So still, yeah, about three times as fast as Solana, and that was very surprising to me because yeah, it's like you see Solana emerging as this place where people are making all these meme coins because it's so fast, it's so cheap. So really being able to see a crypto emerging that is able to actually compete versus Solana in any way is, that's something that's very interesting, right? Because it may not catch up to Ether, right? But closing the gap between Solana and that is, that's something that's very possible if it so happens to beat Solana out on the things that people like Solana for.
Yeah, yeah, no, that I didn't know that. I knew Near was great. I have covered it in the past in previous bull cycles, but I didn't know it was that fast. But it Near has one feature missing that I think Solana has.
Hmm.
Solana, they're able to stop the blockchain, and they've stopped it a few times.
Right. There was a big hack, right? I remember with Solana,
It
there
was
was
the
a
hack,
big hack.
but they stopped the blockchain. You're not supposed to stop a decentralized blockchain.
Yeah,
So
how do you
it's
do
not
that? That's
so it's
crazy.
not decentralized. That's
Right.
concerns I have about Solana. But it has spawned this meme coin boom. And I just want to, because I did do a video about it, about moonwalk.com,
Hmm.
WALC, which is being launched on Saturday the 30th November, about 2:30 UK time on Near Protocol. If you
So
want
like tomorrow?
to today,
Oh, today. Right.
yeah, you're middle of the night, I think.
Right.
Right?
Okay.
You're late night, but it's a meme coin on the Near blockchain. So we'll see how that goes, especially if Near turns out to be much, much faster than Solana. So
Yeah.
this is Near on the weekly time frame. And then what I can see here is a cup and handle. And then if it breaks about $8, around about $8,
Hmm.
$7.80, $8, and closes above that price, then we're off to the races again. And then what we're looking at is from $1.50 to about another $6 or so, which would take us to
So
about there.
So the interesting thing about Nearcoin, so as I mentioned, I go from the top. I started at Bitcoin, working all the way down the tops, right? So now I'm on to 20. So I just covered Near recently, and probably yeah, the most interesting thing about Near that I couldn't say for any other crypto is I always like ask AI, what are the controversies surrounding this crypto, right? And for every crypto, usually it's like the SEC has done a lawsuit, the blah blah blah. That's typically that. And then there's also like, with Avalanche, they had a lawyer who was suing competitors, which seemed kind of like they got a lawyer who would have a stake in the currency, and he was supposed to sue certain competitors. So it's like with all these different cryptos, there's always some different story about what's going on and different controversies. But for the life of me, I could not find any controversies about Near. I tried asking AI. AI was like, no, no, we don't have anything. I tried just doing a Google search and looking at all the news articles and nothing, everything was, like, hey, this stands to gain, this stands to gain, blah, blah, blah. There was no story about, hey, the developers, are looking to rug everybody, or the development team did this, or, even with what was it? I don't know if it was Uniswap or one of those. It wasn't Uniswap. It was something like that, where they were saying that the development team, like the to launch projects, that the team was racist, that they weren't just choosing certain like teams in Asia because it was. There's nothing like that with Near.
Mm.
It's like so many different negative narratives can be fabricated and may not even necessarily be valid, but just it's so possible to have some many different negative stories. I've seen them all, but with Near, there's nothing.
Wow, that's really encouraging. That's because
Yeah,
the space
yeah,
is
and I've gone
clean.
through all of them. So this out of the top 20, this is the first time I've ever seen that. Even with Doge, I love Doge, but like Elon Musk was getting sued for, people try to get a couple $1 billion off of him for sort of hyping, right? So of course they lost that suit, but there's still like all this negative stuff about pump and dumps and yeah. But with Near, I can find nothing. And it's been around for a couple of years, right?
Yeah. I think that's really promising, because one of the things that I've not been great at, it's happened to me many times. I put money into a particular crypto, and then for whatever reason, either some sort of controversy about the project,
Mm,
or
yeah,
some sort of disruption with the team, in some
right.
way or other, they fall out with each other or something, you know.
Yeah.
Or there's one project that I made a lot of money from, but I lost a lot of money. I thought it was a really great project called Minex Coin,
Okay.
and it was out of Kiev, and I never did a sponsored video for them. I just liked the project. They didn't pay me any
Right.
money or anything, and I thought it was really well run. And then they ran out of money. They just
Wow.
ran out of money. They couldn't sustain the business because they
Right.
had some, financial drawbacks, some hits in the commercial sector. But
Hmm.
with Near, that sounds really, really great. Although I would say
Yeah.
there is something that is controversial about Near,
Ah, okay.
because you said in a group that we're in that you liked that
Oh yeah.
yeah,
That it's they're like, yeah, they're very that they're like they promise to be carbon neutral,
yeah.
right?
That in my opinion, from the stuff that I've looked at, is a
Hmm.
complete scam.
Right.
Absolute
Right.
scam. Now, if I draw parallels with Bitcoin, right? You and I know
Hmm.
we know no coiners, people that diss Bitcoin.
Right.
Right? They say, no, you got to have your pound and your dollar. We know
Right.
people that diss gold. Well, they're probably less so
Yeah.
in Hong Kong than in the
Yeah.
UK. Right?
Right.
Yeah,
Right. Right. But yeah, I'm from America, right? So
yeah.
yeah, America, a lot of
Uh,
people.
and I would say in those instances, they've never actually examined. They've never actually looked for themselves. And in my experience, where I've spoken to people about the whole carbon dioxide climate change agenda, and I think it comes into cryptocurrencies because it
Yeah.
ties up with CBDCs.
Hmm.
They've never actually listened to the counter arguments. They've just accepted what the mainstream media has told them, what government
Hmm.
has told them.
Right.
97% of scientists agree. There's consensus. No, science isn't about consensus.
Hmm.
Science is never ever settled. It's always a
Right.
process of inquiry and discovery.
Hmm.
So, so then I went and had a look myself.
Hmm.
I hope you don't mind me saying this, Reggie.
Oh, no problem.
Okay. So look, my understanding is it used to be called global warming, but now they talk about climate change.
Right.
But the idea
Hmm.
is that, and actually, what I did was there's a group of people on the mainstream media and the Guardian and everything and BBC and MSN. Yeah. We need to stop using carbon dioxide because we're emitting too much and we're all going to die.
Hmm. Right.
And there's another group that are censored. They're omitted from the discourse. You don't
Hmm.
hear those voices deliberately. Like, for example, the Nobel Prize winner for physics in 2022.
Hmm.
He said he's a physicist. He says that carbon dioxide doesn't cause climate change, but you don't hear his voice.
Right.
That censorship is a tell. You
Hmm.
can't have scientific inquiry in an environment of censorship.
Hmm.
There's a scientist I interviewed, Dr. Judith Curry. She was working for IPCC because they wanted to find evidence in support of carbon dioxide causing climate change.
Hmm.
She did the research, and said, actually, no, it doesn't. So she lost her funding. She lost her academic posts.
Hmm.
My video interview with her, I won't post on YouTube because I'll risk getting it deleted or getting my channel deleted because of the censorship. So then all people hear is this: climate change, climate change, climate change, carbon dioxide, right? So there's two opposing views. So then what I did was, well, let me look and see for myself.
Hmm.
Let me learn a little bit about meteorology and look at the
Hmm.
science. So this is my understanding, Reggie.
Hmm.
Human beings, oh, by the way, I drive a Prius. I have a hybrid. We have solar panels, which we got years ago, and I have voted for Greens, for the Green Party, although I'm unlikely to do so ever again. So my understanding is that what we do is we release, as human beings, we're releasing carbon dioxide, yes,
Hmm.
through our activities, and that warms the atmosphere. That's the argument. Carbon dioxide warms the atmosphere, it retains heat, so the atmosphere
Hmm.
gets warmer, yes?
Right.
I mean, have
I
I
mean, it
got,
makes sense. I'm not. Is listen. I'm not that much. I'm.
but
Not
you
have
may not
a.
be, but people listening,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. So I'm
So then,
following you.
okay, so then you've got a warmer atmosphere.
Hmm.
You'll have more humidity, you'll have more moisture in the air because
Hmm.
there's more humidity, more
Right.
moisture when the air is warm.
Hmm.
So now you've got carbon dioxide plus warmth plus
Hmm.
water vapor, and then you'll have more rain. So you've
Hmm.
got carbon dioxide plus warmth plus water.
Hmm.
What's that? What happens in the presence of daylight?
It evaporates water, right?
No, carbon dioxide, when you have carbon dioxide plus warmth, plus water, plus daylight, photosynthesis,
Mm-hmm.
plant growth.
Right.
So wait a minute. Plant growth, CO2, plant food
Mm-hmm.
is bad for the planet?
Right.
That causes warmth, climate change, more so than the sun,
Right.
more so
But
than
yeah,
our atmosphere.
it, yeah, it's like I really have to get into it, but it's like from yeah, just having a very, not even a rudimentary. It's just like, yeah, but it's very easy to say that, like, look at these greedy oil companies,
Yeah,
right? Look at these greedy car companies.
oh,
you
they are
know?
greedy. They are greedy.
Yeah.
But here's what it serves, right? With carbon
Right.
dioxide is a great proxy for human activity.
Hmm.
The World Economic Forum, what they want us to do is they want to institute central bank digital currencies with a biometric digital ID and a carbon tracker.
Hmm.
That measures human activity.
Hmm.
So then they can monitor and control not just our spending,
Hmm.
but our movement as well, our activity.
Right.
I mean, some of
Yeah.
the BS in the mainstream media, like gardening,
Yeah.
gardening is bad for 5 times worse for the planet through carbon dioxide emissions than not
Mhm.
than what, bringing tomatoes in from Spain.
Yeah. And
They get,
yeah, what I can say is, like, at least, like, yeah, from what I've seen, um, so, like, already industrialized nations, right? So, such as America, it's a lot easier to have sort of lower carbon emissions compared to a developing nation, right? So, yeah, the part that I do see is that sort of nations that have already gone through their phase of industrialization, using this as an opportunity to sort of wag their finger at developing nations, saying, like, hey, you guys got to get greener. Promise you're going to get greener. Well, it's like, guys, you guys went through this stage, 100, 200, 250 years ago. Like, we're just trying to catch up, so, like, we can't. So of course, if the standard is we have to meet whatever level you're able to meet, we can't do that yet,
but
because we had a later start.
that's a really, really interesting point. So let me get this right. Now, the green movement came out of Europe.
Mhm.
So the continent that is a net importer of hydrocarbons,
Mhm.
because it doesn't have any apart from Britain and Norway a little, right?
Mhm.
Telling the rest of the world that they have to do without hydrocarbons for their own good. That
Yeah, yeah,
this
yeah,
seems
or
to
at
be a
least
model
America, from my
of
standard as an American, is it comes from us, is like, yeah, because we've already gone through industrialization,
yeah,
we're able to be, yeah.
but
Mhm.
I think it's worse than that. So let me get this right. So the
Yes,
Europeans
right,
are telling the rest of the world what's good for them,
right.
that they know better. Well,
Yeah,
didn't they do that with Christianity as the civilizing mission
yeah,
and slavery as an excuse for plundering resources?
right. Yeah,
That's the
that's a
self
good
interest.
point. Yeah.
And what, like, Indian scientists and Chinese scientists and African scientists, they don't know. They don't care about their countries. No, no
Right.
development for you because we don't have any oil or coal or gas in appreciable amounts. Therefore, we're going to keep you squashed through this completely dodgy science that relies on censorship because it has no foundational basis in science. So I'd say to people watching this, go check out for yourself. Go find the carbon because people haven't listened to both sides of the argument and they haven't examined them for themselves. They don't do that with
Mhm.
Bitcoin.
Mhm.
They don't examine
Yeah.
for themselves.
So your criticism of near, because yeah, so I saw, so they have a lot of
It's not a
content
big
on.
criticism. It's not a big
Okay.
criticism. They've just bought into that nonsense.
Or it's effective marketing,
Yeah,
right? Like, let's say whether or not it's actually real or true or necessarily helpful. The thing is that people want to hear that, or people that are down on Bitcoin because of feeling like there's environmental impacts. They want to hear that there's competitors like, oh, I'm not interested in Bitcoin. Oh, but this is actually better than Bitcoin in this way. I think it's a very, smart marketing thing, whether or not we actually, agree with, how bad Bitcoin is. This saying that it's better than Bitcoin in that way. I think, like, that's what it seems to me. And it's like, yeah, if somebody's already down on Bitcoin due to how they feel about the environmental impact,
No, that's a
it's
good
like,
point. That is,
right, it's like you can't really change their mind, really. So, but if you could show them an alternative, like, okay, well, hey, look, this isn't Bitcoin, this is near, and look, they're building trees, you know.
oh, trees
So
are
it's
good.
like it's a
Trees
much
are
better
always good.
sell.
Trees are
Yeah,
always good. And I've got no argument with trees. Let's plant more trees, right?
yeah,
Okay, Reginald, no, that's a very good point. I think we should wrap up.
sure,
You and I got to get this out soon, especially because there's no point in getting this out in a few days' time because of
mhm,
the TA, right? Well, then we can
right.
check whether it's happened or not. Is there anything else you want to say before we finish up?
No, no. Thanks so much. Yeah, and I look forward to doing this again. I love
Me too.
yeah, hearing your perspective. You're connected to so many different things. So yeah, I think I've gained a lot, but also my audience gains a lot from hearing from you. So yeah, I'm looking forward to doing this again.
Fabulous, fabulous. Thank you. And there's some projects that I'm personally connected to that I can connect to you. You know, if you want to do interviews and stuff, if you get to that stage,
Yeah,
just reach out.
yeah, for sure, for
And
sure.
do look at Verus Coin. I'll come back on at some point and talk about Pirate Chain if you want. So anybody,
Yeah,
the links in the description below for my stuff and Reginald's stuff. And if you are on, follow my channel, go follow Reggie. And if you follow Reggie, well, maybe come and follow mine. There is some crypto stuff every now and then, right?
yeah. And I'll have your link in my description also.
Yeah. Thank you so much. All the best. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.